Sports update. Springbok coach Jacques Nienaber is set to name his 23-man squad for the opening test against Wales at Loftus. It will be the first time the Boks play in front of a packed stadium since August 2019. Nienaber is expected to announce his strongest possible team, leaving little room to experiment. For more on this, we're joined by eNCA sports editor Vata Ngobeni. Very good afternoon, boss. Great to be chatting to you from the grounds. Opening question, what do you make of Jacques Nienaber's team selection?
Afternoon, Arthur. Again, I think Jacques Nienaber has shown his hand quite early in the week. He's got nothing to hide, and we expected a team like this. You know, I think he's stuck with what has worked with him for him in the past. We're seeing a lot of the old hands within that team. And there's little maneuver or room for the youngsters to come in. I think he wants to establish, the team in the series, in the first test of the series, and that's why he's gone with his tried and trusted soldiers. So, we're not seeing some of the exciting names that have dominated the headlines, especially in the URC. But I think with time, in the next sort of week or two, we'll see him infusing some of those youngsters and some of those informed players that were not previously part of the Springbok setup.
Looking at that match day 23, are there any surprise selections, Vata?
Yeah, I think one would look at a guy like Elton Yankee starting ahead of 100 Pollard. And one would, you start wondering what was the thinking behind that, because 100 Pollard would have come off. He's got a lot of confidence coming off the top 14, having won there with Montpellier. And then again, another interesting one is Damian Willemse at 15. One thinks Warwick Galant did enough during the URC, but then at the same time, you see a Damian Willemse role, of having played 10 and 12 at the Stormers and having done well at 12. One would have thought that again, the Springboks would probably give him a run there, but that's what Jacques Nienaber decided to go with is Willemse at 15 and Elton Yankees at 10, and I think the rest of the team sort of speaks for itself. It's those tried and trusted soldiers that have done well for the Springboks over the last 3 years.
Surely this is probably Nienaber's toughest team selection since taking over the reins of the team. Do you agree with that?
No, without a doubt. I mean, again, the pressure of the likes of Evan Droos were banging at the door. The likes of Eric Lowe, all these youngsters who did so well in the URC, the likes of Warwick Galant, who was playing the best rugby of his life. All these players, had been asking Jacques Nienaber to give them an opportunity with the Springboks. But then again, he knows what's worked for him in the past. People would have spoken about the form of Siya Kolisi, let's say, with the Sharks, but we know what Siya Kolisi can do when he puts on the Springbok jersey. And then again, you look at a guy like Steven Kitsoff and you wonder, what was the thinking again when it comes to that front row? Should he have started with Kitsi, or is it good coming? Is that bomb squad really working for him? So I think he would have spent sleepless nights thinking about this team and who to select. You got a guy like Jasper Visser, who he did explain and said, listen, you've got to continue giving him a run. And, at the back of his mind would have been a guy like Evan Droos again, whether to bring him onto the bench or whether to start with him. So again, I think this had to be one of his toughest team selections. But then again, he's shown his hand quite early in the week, and he's saying to himself, I will back the players that I've worked with well over since taking over the reins of the team. But then again, he has left a window of opportunity for some of the younger players. We're seeing a Sama Murat and Elrich Lowe on the bench, and their chances are they will be making the Springbok debuts on Saturday.
All right, Vata, thank you so much. We have run out of time. I wanted to ask you about how the Springboks would feel playing in front of the South African crowd for the first time since winning, of course, the World Cup trophy back in 2019 at Loftus. But I'm sure it should be something worth watching and waiting for at the weekend. That was eNCA sports editor Vata Ngobeni ahead of the Springboks' first test against the Welsh. Of course, head coach Jacques Nienaber naming his match day 23, and it should be interesting to see what the result shall be at the end of the 80 minutes. That's where we leave things.